Welcome to another video. I hope you're doing all dope. In today's episode, we're going to have a look at the GoPulse.com website, a wonderful website for the stats in the RH ecosystem. There you can find some stats about Pulse Chain, about Hex, about PulseX, even about incentive tokens. But as always, don't forget first to smash the like button, smash the subscriber button, and of course, if you like, leave a comment down below at the bottom of this video. And as always, we're going to start right into it. If we have a look at GoPulse.com, you can see first some overview stats on the front page. We're going to talk about this in a second. Up here you have the money with the stats, apps, Hex, portfolio swap. Don't forget to buy the buy button on the right side over here. So let's start today in this Red Wednesday. You can see the current price of the Pulse token, the PLS token, currently down 11.8%. You can see from the sacrifice value it is 0.46x currently, so almost half of the value which was the sacrifice price back 2 years ago. Current market cap around 700 million, supply about 15 trillion Pulse. We don't go into all the stats in details, because I'm just going to show you the main functions. A little bit above here you can switch in between 5 minutes, 1 hour, 6 hour and 24 hour time frame. We're going to leave it this normally at 24 hours, that's enough. On the right side you have, as of course, the chart. If you would like to have a quick look at the chart, you can see this for all the tokens for Pulse, PulseX. In the middle we have the incentive token, and on the right side we have Hex. Let's start quickly with Hex. You have a lot of stats to digest. In here you have the current price of the Hex token on the Pulse chain, and if you have a look down here you can see the price of eHex currently sitting at $0.0045, and you have a combined price of Hex and eHex currently just above 1 cent. You have always for the three tokens here the sells and the buys. As you can see, currently there are more buys going on, except in the incentive token there are a little bit more sells at the moment in the last 24 hours. You see as well the volume, the market cap, the supply. If you scroll down a little bit, you have two buttons here. You can either include or exclude the OA, the origin address, which nobody really knows how much tokens there are holding, but if you click to exclude or include, you can see how the market cap and the supply changes. So if we exclude the OA, of course the market cap is a little bit smaller. If you include it again, the market cap is way higher. You can also switch in between USD or coins. That is just a little extra up in here. So if you would like to have a quick overview, GoPulse.com is your main site to go for the moment. If we scroll further down, the last stats on the main page, we can see the total transaction on the Pulse chain blockchain. And just recently we surpassed 300,000 active wallets on the Pulse chain. So that's about it for the main page. If we go over to the stats, we're just gonna hop over the 5 most important stats for the Pulse chain blockchain, and we're gonna see here first the block explorer. You can see roughly every 10 seconds a new block is spawned, so right now there should be a new block coming in. Boom, voila, here it is. You can see how many transactions in each block was included. And further down we can see the average block time, what I just mentioned, is 10 seconds compared to Ethereum, which has an average block time of roughly 12 seconds. On the right side you can see it's a fluctuating value, but since you're on the website, how much Pulse tokens is burned by the fee transactions, so that's really cool. A nice little feature on top of that. You cannot see much more on this stats site here. If you go over to the Validators, you have first a chart of the last 7 days. We can see we are reaching the goal of around 40,000 validators, active validators in the ecosystem. At the moment 11 are entering. This needs a little bit time until they get activated, but once they're activating, they're starting to earn the fees. If you click the show globe, you have a nice animation of the world, which you can see the distribution of the active validators on the globe. You can maybe scroll around how you want, find your validator if you have one. And on the bottom of this page we have 4 different stats. We can see currently the total staked amount in validators. We have 1.24 trillion Pulse tokens staked. That's roughly $57 million staked at the current APR of 16.7%, but this goes down at the moment as more validators are joining the ecosystem. You can see how much an average balance is or how much a validator is in price. If you would like to run a validator, you need at least around 1,400, would say 1,500 US dollars. You can see some stats about the current epoch and the current slot we're in, and this is about it for the validator stats page. The bridge is maybe something which is a little bit more complicated to understand. It connects both worlds. It connects the Ethereum world with the Pulse chain world. And we can see so far there is an amount of US dollar value with some different tokens which were bridged into the Pulse chain ecosystem. And the second part is the part which is bridged out from Pulse chain to the Ethereum blockchain. So first we can see the roughly 100 million US dollars which were bridged to the Pulse chain. Of course, the bridge also accumulates some fee, at the moment 0.3% of the bridging amount. We can see the leader is the DAI token. After that we have some USDC, we have USDT, a bunch of Ethereum, a bunch of Ethereum Hex was bridged over, and some wrapped Bitcoin. The value which was bridged out to Ethereum is roughly 2.5 million in Pulse tokens, around 50,000 in Hex tokens, and 20,000 in Pulse tokens. So these are some stats to see how the bridge is operating, and it's nice to see that the value which is flowing into the Pulse chain ecosystem is way higher than the outflow. And if you go to the next stats page, this is the PulseX stats page. This is the native exchange on the Pulse chain. We have a lot of different DEXs and aggregators, but PulseX is the native exchange from Pulse chain ecosystem. We can see here also we have two views. We have the daily view and we have the cumulative view. So since the start we have roughly 8 million trades. We have a total volume since the start of 5.7 billion US dollars, and you can see for the moment the liquidity dropped a couple days ago to roughly 115 million US dollars, was at the top at almost 400, I would say 460 million US dollars. But as we are all aware, we are still in a bear market, so this is for me total normal behavior. Liquidity is low. This also means more potential for the price to explode to the upside. If we move on to the stats, we have the last page, the gas page. You can see nicely how much cheaper the Pulse chain ecosystem is compared to Ethereum and compared to Bitcoin. If we have a quick look, we are 1,321x cheaper to Ethereum in terms of swap to send Ethereum or just to send an ERC20 token. And we are almost 300x times cheaper to Bitcoin. If you want to send some Bitcoin, it costs you roughly 30 cents. If you want to send some Pulse tokens, it costs you $0.001, which is basically nothing. And you can swap a token for 1 cent, which is amazing. You can see the fee situations for the last 30 days, around 1 million Pulse. If we're staying around this fee level and the price level, of course, the fees are really cheap. If you move on to the apps, we have different things. Check it out. I just go to pick up some. For example, you can mint your own token, which is normally unnecessary because you don't want to create a shit token. But if you're really interested in, you can easily create a token on the Pulse chain blockchain in a few clicks. And the last app I would like to point out is the Revoke app. Here you can take back the control for your wallet. Every time you connect your MetaMask wallet, for example, to Uniswap or to another exchange, you have to give some permission that the tokens can be traded. And sometimes it's really intelligent just to maybe revoke these permissions, take them back, kill them. You don't need to have many permissions for your wallet. Also, don't have too many open permissions on your cold wallet. As always, keep your stuff safe and not connected as much to the internet. Let me move on to the third point, the Hex point. This is a really neat backup front end for your Hex stakes. We're all familiar with the go.hex.com front end. So all you have to do is connect your MetaMask wallet. We're going to choose the MetaMask wallet. MetaMask pops up, next connect. And you can see currently we have the stakes. I have, I think, 4 active stakes going on. We have a neat little progress bar in here. You can do 2 things for your stake. You can click the 3 little dots. I would not suggest to emergency end stake, but what you can do is you can, for example, mint your Hedron and buy more hex, for example. And once the stake is ended, of course, you can also end your stake. You can even see the 2 past stakes down in here. And always important, have a look at this button in here. You can switch in between the networks. So if we're going to click switch, we're now on the Pulse Chain network, and we can see I have, of course, the same stakes on the Pulse Chain network, because once Pulse Chain came out, it was a full system state. So I have my hex stakes on Ethereum and I have my hex stake on the Pulse Chain, and I can easily swap in between the networks in here with a click of a button. Of course, I can do a new stake. I can say the amount of hex, the days I would like to stake, and click start stake. As well, I can do this on both chains. That's already about it for the hex part here on this website. I think the most interesting parts are coming now, is the portfolio, the swap, and the buy. Let's start quickly with the portfolio app. All you have to do here is fill in your Ethereum address, or even multiple addresses if you have. So if you also have an Ethereum name, for example, I have a donation address hodl.dog.eth, it will automatically resolve it to my address. It will fill in the name, but basically you can just copy and paste the Ethereum address in here, save the address, and then you will see how much tokens, how many things you have on this address. So let me just first add a second address. We can click the edit button up in here. You see already add new address. We're going to take our test staking wallet address, going to paste it in here. This is the YouTube demo address. We're going to add it, going to close, and you see it changed already quite a bit. Again, the button up in here shows you are connected for the moment for the portfolio for the Pulse Chain and the Ethereum blockchain. So you see both combined value. If you click here, you can see the value of the Pulse Chain portfolio, you see the value of the Ethereum portfolio, or as I said, the combined value. You can see here as well the 2 addresses I added to my portfolio, so I can view them individually by clicking on them, or I just see both as usual. Always good, click somewhere where you can. You can, for example, click the percentage in here to show the dollar value or the percentage value. You can click on the dollar value of your portfolio just to hide the token amount. You can see overall all tokens. If you're missing something, no worries, just go click edit button, go here to the second tab, assets. Here you have again a lot of options. You can see a detailed or a combined view of your tokens. You can also add the validator PLS stake button here if you would like to see your validators which are currently running, so you can see the deposit value amount, and maybe you have another address for the rewards. And down here you have a bunch of tokens on the Pulse Chain and the Ethereum blockchain, which you can just choose which you would like to see on your portfolio. If you're already hanging around the settings, you can go to the third point here, balances, and you can add manual holdings of some tokens if you wish so. But for now, you're probably going to see all the tokens you need. But for example, you can add here, you own 100,000 hex or Pulse tokens manually if you wish so. And you can do the same for the Ethereum blockchain. Last but not least, you have an export function. You can either copy your portfolio ID, which means this is just a code which you should never share with anybody, but you can just copy and paste it on your smartphone or on another computer so you can see and watch your portfolio again. Down here you can download a snapshot. This is just like really a picture of the moment of your portfolio, convert it to an Excel file, and you can do whatever you want to do. Let me close the settings again. As you see, you can see from the highest amount to the smaller amount or what I have going on here on my portfolio. As for example mentioned before, I have my 4 stakes on Pulse Chain and I have my 4 stakes on Ethereum. We have other tokens in this wallet, which are at the moment 2 wallet, and you can also hide the dust if you like. Down here, which maybe some of you are missing, is the current yield in 1 hour, 24 hours, 7 days, 30 days, or a year time frame, which is really neat. You can see Hex earning on both chains as well. You see the Hedron earning on both chains as well. Let me move up to the second last point up in here, the swap function. So if you would like to swap some tokens like you do it on PulseX, you can do the same on copulse.com under swap. All you have to do is first to switch to Pulse Chain because we're already connected with the wallet from before. So once we are connected to the Pulse Chain blockchain, we can, for example, swap some Pulse tokens into more Hex tokens. So let me do this right away. I'm going to swap, for example, 10,000 Hex tokens for 56 Hex. That should not take so long. Gonna confirm this transaction in the MetaMask wallet. You can see I have to pay 368 Pulse in fees. Gonna confirm, boom, and we're gonna wait around 10 seconds until the blockchain gonna confirm our transaction. And once the transaction is confirmed, boom, voila, we have our tokens in the wallet. We should have now 56 more Hex tokens. So you can see this process runs really, really smoothly. If we're gonna zoom in a little bit, you can see down here, this PulseX swap feature is analyzing 18 routes across 3 dexes. Just to clarify 3 dexes, what is meant with that, we have the PulseX V1 exchange, we have the version 2 exchange, and we have an easy swap exchange, which we're gonna have a look into maybe into another video. So these are the 3 main dexes. At the moment, you are saving compared to EasySwap 0.2%. Sometimes it's written PulseX, maybe it switches. I overall would suggest you use the exchange you prefer the most. PulseX really works great. PulseX, of course, the native exchange, works smooth as well. Last but not least, we're gonna click on this buy button up in here, which is a wonderful onboarding site or a wonderful onboarding tool if you would like to buy some Pulse tokens but you only own Ethereum, or you only own BNB token, or only Bitcoin. Basically what you can do, you can start an exchange right away. You have maybe some Ethereum and you would like to buy some Pulse tokens. You can do that in here. If you ask yourself how it's going, it will take a little bit. It takes maybe 10-15 minutes overall, but the process is really easy. All you do is you define the amount of tokens you would like to swap. In this example, 1 Ethereum. We're gonna click buy. So all you're gonna do is you paste your Pulse chain address in here. This is the destination address where you would like to receive the Pulse tokens. Optionally, you can even add the Ethereum address as a refund address. In case the exchange doesn't go through, you get back the Ethereum to this address. Most of you have like probably the same address on the Ethereum and the Pulse chain network. You just switch in between the networks, so don't get confused too much about that. But important, you're gonna paste your Pulse chain address in here. You can easily see the Pulse chain address when you open MetaMask. You see that we are on the Pulse chain network, and if you click on the blue little thing here, you can copy your address, and we're gonna paste this address in here. So in the next step, you have 30 minutes time to send your Ethereum or whatever token you would like to swap for Pulse. You're gonna send this amount of token to the address which is provided here, the deposit address. There you're gonna send your tokens and maybe copy and paste this exchange ID. Like this, you can always go to the menu, the little hamburger menu up in here, and you can check the exchange status in here to see what's going on with your transactions. As I said before, it takes a little while. For my test here, it took roughly 15 minutes, but everything worked really smoothly. And maybe last point, if you ask yourself which kind of exchange this is, what is going on exactly with this widget which is in here, you can always analyze a little bit. And if we go to search for the exchange, we find a link, and I'm pretty sure I saw this also on Twitter. It's 2 platforms. It's like balancing in between the liquidity. So we have either Let's Exchange, which is a basic website where you can already do the same stuff in here which we just did. Or you can go to changelly.com. This is the same site, which in my opinion, the PulseX widget is balancing, as I said, between the liquidity pools and try to get you the best deal. Overall, I have to mention you have no KYC here, you have no limits, you have a worldwide availability, and it runs pretty smooth. Last part, this dude of this website even implemented a shortcut. So if you're gonna hit Ctrl K, or you can also click it up in here on the top right, you see shortcuts. So you can always just hit Ctrl K, hit B for buy PLS, enter, and you're already arriving at the right page of the website. And last but not least, the documentation is always important. If you have any question, click the little wiki link up in here. You'll find some good information about GoPulse.com and GoPulseX, the exchange itself. For example, you can see how to buy Pulse, how to buy Pulse with credit card. They're going to talk about the on-chain privacy, how to use the shortcuts, how to track your portfolio as well. You're going to have some information about the GoPulseX exchange, step-by-step guide, how to connect your MetaMask wallet, how to get some Pulse. Even a referral program is running for those who are interested in, and a little FAQ for all your general questions. So that was about the GoPulse.com website. I hope you learned something. Please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, call somebody you love and say hi, and see you in the next one. Peace.